All right, good morning. I had a couple questions today about multiplying matrices and how to enter them into the quick poll in the quiz. It's really not that big a deal, but I thought I'd go over it here for you guys this morning, and we'll do a couple extra practice problems as well, just to get those in there if you're struggling with multiplying matrices. So first of all, we have B times A. So I'm going to do matrix B times matrix A, and you have to decide whether or not you're even allowed to multiply them. B has 2 rows and 2 columns, so it is a 2 by 2 matrix, and A has 2 rows and 3 columns, so it is a 2 by 3 matrix. We're going to take a 2 by 2 B times a 2 by 3 A. And the way you can tell whether or not you're allowed to do it, if the numbers in the middle match, then check, it's possible, and then the numbers on the outside are going to be the answer. So let's go ahead and do B times A since the numbers in the middle do match. So we're going to end up with a 2 by 3 matrix when we're all said and done. So B is going to be a 2 by 2. It's 4, 2, 1, and negative 3. Snooka. 4, 2, 1, and negative 3 times A, which was a 2 by 3 matrix. 0, 7, 3, negative 2, 3, 0. I think that's it. Let me check. Yep, we're good to go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set underneath this row number 1, right? And I'm going to pick it up, just like we said in the other videos, and I'm going to walk it over and I'm going to dump it in. So because I'm grabbing that and I walk it over and I dump it in, the 2 hits on the bottom first. The 4 sits right on top of that. We're going to multiply them and add them. So that means I'm going to end up with 4 times 0 plus 2 times negative 2. And that's going to be 0 plus negative 4. So negative 4 is going to be my answer. All right, now where does that go? Since that was in the first row and the first column, when I do my answer, we already said that the answer was going to be a 2 by 3 matrix. So I'm going to go ahead and make one over here, 2 by 3. So it'll have 2 rows and 3 columns. And in the first row, first column, we have a negative 4 because I did the first row times the first column. I'm going to take this first row and move it over to the second column. And now we're going to do first row times the second column. This is going to be 28 plus 6, which is 34. And it's okay that that number is so big. And that 34 is going to go right in the middle like that. That was first row, second column. Now I'm going to move this over to my third row. And we're going to do 4 times 3 plus 2 times 0. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 0 gives us 12. And that was the first row times the third column. All right. Now we're going to move on to the second row now. So we'll grab this second row, pick it up and drop it in, and we'll do all this same math using the second row. This is a little tedious. It does take a little bit of time, but it's not difficult math. You're just multiplying some numbers and adding them together. It takes a minute, but it's not hard. So now when I pick that up and I drop it in, the negative 3 goes in first. The number 1 goes in second, and we're going to add those. I'm going to get rid of this little blue dot right here. All right. So this is going to be 1 times 0 plus negative 3 times negative 2 gives me the number 6. That was first row or second row, first column. We move it over. We do 1 times 7 and negative 3 times 3. We'll end up with 7 minus 9, which is a negative 2. And that was second row, second column. And then we'll do 1 times 3 and negative 3 times 0, which is 3 plus 0 gives us 3. And that was second row, third column. So I end up with this 2 by 3 matrix over here, and this is my answer. So then what students were saying is they said, Mr. Studer, how do I type that into the quick poll? Well, on the quick poll, your answer is going to ask you for row 1, It's going to ask you for row 2, and it's going to ask you for row 3 for that question. All right, so for row 1, we're going to type in a -4, a space, a 34, a space, and a 12. And that would be your answer for row number 1. For row number 2, we would say 6, space, -2, space, and a 3. And for row 3, there is no row, so you'll just type in no row. All right, and that would be it. So the next thing we would do is we would take a look at multiplying B times C. B is a 2 by 2 matrix and C is a 3 by 2 matrix. So we have a 2 by 2 and times a 3 by 2. Okay, the numbers in the middle do not match. So before we even started, it's no go. So you're going to say not possible. So if I asked you on the quiz or on the quick poll to do a problem that's not possible, like B times C, you can't do it. When we come down here for row number 1, row number 2, and row number 3, we would say not possible for all 3 rows. Boom, boom. All right. So that's how that works. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do another video. This one's long enough. I'm going to do another video on how to do C times A, just an extra practice. So we'll come up here and we'll do this C times A next in the next video. We'll pound that out. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Rock and roll. Rock and roll.